How's it going, ladies and bruises? I'm Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to Disco Elysium. Now, you'll remember we're over this side now, this side of the world now, and we have a lot of new areas to explore. Lots of stuff to pick up, lots to explore. We got a lot to do now. Before we were running out of things to do because I didn't know what to explore, but now we have infinite exploration to do. We got this building, we got that church, we got people to talk to. We are going to be busy, but hopefully we can pick up lots of great stuff and maybe make enough money to survive. And we got a free place to stay, which is crazy. What is this? Hypno Gamma, +2 morale. Ooh, +1 savoir faire, -1 visual calculus. This section of the coast hasn't been used in decades. We gotta look around nice and thoroughly. Ooh, what do we got over here? A boathouse is shoddily constructed. A strong breeze might blow it over. What do we got here? Money. There's a sign here we can interact with. A scattering of bullet holes is spread across the cracked wall, reaching from one corner to the other. Why are there this many bullet holes? A row of ghostly shades stand facing the wall. There are many of them, a dozen at least. Their heads lowered and their eyes blindfolded. It's quiet. No sound, no movement. Firing squad, 10 meters away. Other shades are lined up in an orderly manner. Automatic fire rifles primed. A gust of wind blows by. The coats of the firing squad flap slowly in the breeze. A single person stands on the side. The morning sun rises beyond the horizon, radiating the first light of day. The order was carried out at dawn. A long time has passed since the movement of this fusillading. Rain and brine have since washed the blood away. Not a trace remains. What is this? The abundance of bullet holes leads to two options. Either an inordinate amount of executions were performed here, or they did not use a conscious round, where only one soldier had the loaded rifle. Looks like this is a mass execution with everyone fully armed. Look at the people against the wall. A host of men in probably in everyday clothes, ragged from the conflict and covered in dust. They were not sitting, a common practice for executions in some nations, as demonstrated by the height level of the bullet holes. They stand facing the wall. It's impossible to discern any details about their personality or background. Look at the line of soldiers. 7 men in combat uniforms and dark coats holding automatic rifles aimed at the people. Soldiers from some side. From which one? Look at the person standing on the side. The commandant. The one who gives the order. Machine gun fire crackling through the air, the light of muzzles flashes dancing on his face. Who was who in this execution? I need to understand. I'm just a representation of your mental faculties, piecing together any available information. You should probably ask the lieutenant. A cold sea wind blows away the figures. Well, that was depressing. What do we got here? Ancient paint is peeling off the roof of the shaded bench, covered in rust. This place is dilapidated. The sign says, Entree in Interrogate? So there's more stuff to pick up. Money. Is that a bottle? Alcohol. Potent Pilsner. That's your favourite, isn't it? Isn't that your favourite, mister? What do we got here? Fallen Pippo, +2 logic, -1 perception. Not bad. The boards crack dangerously as you run. Be careful here. The door is not only barred shut, it's inaccessible. We're going to be here for a while. There's so much to explore. An old ticket taker booth, no longer in operation. People paid money to park here? No one would pay now. Oh, we can't go this way. Okay. So we've reached a dead end, which is fortunate, actually. Let's talk to this man over here. These men, should I say? Tiny cages, carefully constructed. Hello.
Here we go. Nice and easy. No way out, little guys. Not out of this jam.
There's a cylinder on the ground in which the man is arranging some netting. Looks like some kind of trap. He notices you.
Who's there? Oh, the police. Hello, officer.
Is that the police? Why's the police here?
Don't worry, Gary. I'll handle it.
Maybe the water lock is fixed.
We were supposed to go back to Martinez a couple of days ago, but that damned water lock is broken.
The water lock's been fixed. It was fine when I crossed it.
Oh, good. We should really be getting back. Gary could use a hot shower and a warm bed.
Did he say we can go back now?
Yes, Gary. We can go soon.
Are you doing some kind of science here? You look like a science person.
A science person? The so-called science community hasn't accepted me as one of their own quite yet.
Doesn't sound like he particularly wants to be lumped in with them either. He has a scientific community of one.
I'm Morel, a cryptozoologist. I'm out here looking for a rare insect called the insulindian phasmid. I'd shake your hand, but...
He displays a glove hand, which are glistening with silt and sewage. The way he said the word phasmid made it sound full of mystery. This is a very special word for him indeed. Tell me about this phasmid you're looking for. Well, first of all, it's damn difficult to find, which is why we've been knee-deep in the reeds laying traps for it. How big is this phasmid? I'm expecting it to be quite giant. One unknown species of phasmid, called the Phasmodia zoenesis, is about the size of a grown man's forearm, so he leaves the conclusion up to you. For you, seems puny to be honest. What makes it so difficult to find? Good question. Being a phasmid of the order Phantasmodia, a ghost insect, it disguises itself as plant matter. In this case, the reeds. He looks around. Awful lot of reeds around, aren't there? And I suspect it may have also deployed other specialized techniques to protect itself from predators, or scientists, in our case. What sort of specialized techniques is the phasmid using to hide itself? It's my hypothesis that it's evolved certain electrochemical defenses that allow it to interfere with animal perception, impeding pattern recognition, confusing the visual cortex. Whoa, that's interesting. But I cannot describe how these defenses work, much less how they're evolved, without studying a live specimen. That's crazy. Why are you so interested in the stick bug? Are there more sensational animals out there? No, let's do this. What have you discovered about it so far? Very little, I'm sorry to say. No one's ever captured a specimen. So all our information is based on first and third hand accounts. So no one's ever found one. Not yet. He holds up an index finger. That's what makes it a cryptid. But if no one can prove it exists, how do you know it's real? I know it's real, the cryptozoologist says, brusquely enough that he seems taken aback by it. It's clear that his obsession with the phasmid is driven by something more than a pure pursuit of scientific advancement. By which I mean, he says, gathering himself, I've heard enough first-hand accounts to believe quite firmly that the insulindian phasmid is more than mere superstition. What makes you think the phasmid is here in Martinez? There was a credible sighting here recently. A pair of teenagers described a creature that matched the insulindian phasmid to an uncanny degree, despite not knowing what it was themselves. It's the first credible sighting in several decades, admittedly. It's an unusual location for this species, but with all the sewage runoff upstream, it probably doesn't matter much anymore. Maybe the insulindian phasmid has died out? The cryptozoologist's head shakes his head vigorously. I have to resist the thought. Such an extraordinary creature is doubtlessly highly resilient. After all, it's generally thought of to be capable of parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis? Yes, the females don't need the males to reproduce. Makes it easier for the species to survive in adverse conditions. That's pretty clever. Yes, the insulindian phasmid is a very clever insect. That's why it's so damn difficult to catch. But as a scientist, I try my best to remain dispassionate. Tell me more about these traps. Well, he points at the cage of mesh and wiring on the ground. They may not look impressive, but Lena designed them quite cleverly, so I'm sure they'll do the trick. Lena designed the traps? Yes, he says with some pride. How do the traps work? Simple. Attracted by the locust, the phasmid crawls down the funnel and, having eaten its fill, can't get back out. At least that's the intention. The net isn't a perfect solution, but we didn't want to use anything that might damage the specimen's delicate exoskeleton. What are you using as bait? Locust, he just said that. Locust, he gestures towards the trap. Nearly all known phasmids are herbivores, of course, but we've hypothesized that the Insulindian phasmid might occasionally prey on other insects. Inside the trap, a number of locusts crawl and tumble over one another in a tiny chittering swarm. A meat-eating stick insect. Does it pretend to be the reeds as part of its ambush behavior? Seems unlikely. A carnivorous stick insect seems unlikely. Thank you for your opinion. We've also included plant material in the traps, so satiate your skepticism. What will you do if the traps don't work? They'll work, I assure you. The predatory hypothesis using locusts as bait accounts for the failure of previous efforts by other teams, which used plants. We have given this some thought. How'd you become a cryptozoologist? I've just always liked animals and puzzles. Searching for cryptids is a bit of both. So you're living your childhood dream out here. His eyes narrow. It's not child's play just because I have to traipse through the mud every so often. Have you ever discovered a cryptid? No, very few cryptids are ever discovered. And not for a lack of trying. To stay hidden is a cryptid's primary quality. It's even in the name, cryptid. So how many cryptids have been found? Of the list of cryptids kept by the Cryptozoological Society of Chemney, which is about 4,082 items long, about 2,000 have been confirmed as hoaxes. 2 categories are confirmed as confirmed discoveries. The rest are in different stages of discovery, refutation, and data collection. Only 2 have been proven real. Yes, the Xiaotaquin forest pygmy, who turned out to be an extinct species of primate, and a cave salamander from Grad, who is honestly quite unremarkable. It's in a zoo somewhere. We cryptozoologists are brutally honest with ourselves. More so than even the public. Most cryptids are hoaxes, or are never found. It does not mean we should stop searching. Then the Insulindian phasmid will be the third. Indeed. He does not smile, he just looks you in the eye. It's a forceful gaze. If our expedition is successful, every paper in the world will report on it. From Revachol to Dao Shantou, it will be a zoological miracle. The hair on your arm stands up. Electricity. Sounds like Reed's hissing. He's clearly done his math on this. There's no surprising him, or swaying his opinion. Thanks for explaining that. Let's talk about specific cryptids. You guys use skeptically, alright. What cryptids precisely? I usually discuss these things with specialists, so I don't know what we would have to discuss, he wants to say, but decides against it. Just tell me about a cool cryptid. Any cryptid. No offense, officer, but I'm not much of a pedagogue. I don't know what I would have done if Lena hadn't persuaded me to go back to field research. You should ask her, if you want interesting stories. Me, I'm not a people person, unless you haven't noticed, and I don't make a good lecturer. My strength lies in fieldwork and persistence. He brushes an errant strand of hair from his eye. Okay. The soggy logs smell of ignition fluid. They still won't light up. It's almost impossible to get a fire going near the ocean. The heavy military blockades are riddled with bullet holes, crumbling. We'll talk to this man as well. He probably doesn't have much to add, but, you know, he's there.
Hello, I'm Gary. How do you do, officer? I'm just waiting for my friend Morel to finish up with his insect traps, so we can return to civilization.
Not a lover of the great outdoors?
I like nature, just not this bloody coast. It's mostly drunks and degenerates that come here.
The voice for that guy sounds like Many a True Nerd, the YouTube channel. Don't you think? Yeah. Degenerates. This man respects authority too much to see the truth inscribed upon thine own visage. Pretend thou art a paragon of virtue. What do we got? Nobody's perfect. I'm sure you've been tempted to drink.
I've been tempted, but someone has to stay strong for Revachol.
His gaze shifts to the pile of soggy logs at his feet. He pronounces Revachol with a hard K, unlike other people. He said Revachol. I like to pronounce it the hard way, the old way. The Vespertine way. He nods solemnly. The stupid way. It's a secret rite. A very fringe nationalist handshake, probably. Is this your mug? My mug? Why would you think that? I can see you recognize it. It's in your eyes. I may have had a similar looking mug in the past, that's all. Still seems suspicious. Did I mention the mug was found at the scene of a lynching? Okay, I admit it. I threw the mug away in the trash container behind the hostel. I know I shouldn't have, and I'm very sorry, officer. He pauses. You're not going to find me, are you? Nah, Gary, I just want information. Whoa, he's visibly relieved. Thank you, you won't regret this. I won't use another man's property to dump my garbage ever again. I don't know what got into me, really. Work has been stressful lately. Damn Koiko's price dumping us out of competition. What did you do, Gary? Nothing. Just answering some questions, helping out the law. Here we go, start pumping that sweet info. Gary, did you put the clothes of a murder victim, the man who was hanged behind the whirling and rags, into that trash container? Officer, please. He raises both hands. Let me explain. It's not like that. Do. I was only cleaning up. I live right across the yard from where he was hanged. I saw him stripped naked. All the clothes lying around in the yard, smelling. People are animals, you know. Okay, what happened then? Then I came out to clean up the rags because no one else would. I put them in the whirling's trash, along with the broken mug, admittedly. He changes his mind mid-sentence. Okay, I was coming to throw the mug away, and well, I threw the mug there, and the clothes too. As he shifts uncomfortably, a series of clicks, like the clinking of glass beads against one another, as they roll across a hardwood floor. You've heard the sound before, but where? What's that strange sound? What sound? That clinking I heard when you moved. Really? He fans his arms out slowly, and this time his motions are soundless. There's a lot of weird stuff out here in the reeds, though. Insects, trash. Could be the wind shifting some garbage nearby. Every day the wind shifts the reeds and whatever was left in them. Tambourines and condom wrappers, plastic and glass bottles. The smell of decay. The sound you heard was not the sound of something easily abandoned. How did you get into the trash container? I know a guy who works with the trash collection service. CS Municipal. He gave you a master key for the trash containers at Martinez. Why would you need to get into everyone's trash? So I can use the Whirling's trash compactor to store my own stuff, he says, bowing shamefully like a fallen knight. Garbage disposal is expensive as hell. The damn Himians run it like a mob. I'm sorry, okay? I thought I could cut costs. I shouldn't have. I shouldn't have disgraced myself. You wouldn't know anything about the victim's missing armor, would you? Armor? No. He changes his mind. I mean, yes, of course. I know he was wearing armor, but I don't know anything about it. An infant could see he's not telling the truth, but he's too scared to admit more wrongdoing. Let's move on for now. Shit. Composure. What do you know about the man hanged behind the whirling and rags? I told you everything I know, sir. I'm truly sorry for the mug, but I have nothing to do with that. He shifts uncomfortably in his clothes. Uncomfortable shifting around doesn't make him the killer, though. It's something else. Are you a cryptozoologist too? No, I help Moral with research sometimes, and I've learnt some things along the way, but I don't usually go in for picnics like this on my own. It's not a red one, eh? It's a white check. This is a white check, you may retry it. We're going to give it a go, and if it fails, I'm going to put my composure up, because we're going to need it for a lot of other checks as well. Yeah, I had a feeling that would happen. Is he? He looks comfortable enough. I mean, it's just beads. Sounds like beads. What kind of beads might a man like Gary be hiding beneath his clothes? Are you currently sporting some anal beads? Are those prayer beads I keep hearing? I don't pray, officer. Faith in non-existent helpers is a sign of weakness. Not for proper Revacholian men such as ourselves. Okay, we're going to put a point into composure, and then we're going to try that again. It's our only point, but I say it's worth it.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
No. Damn. I'll come back once my composure's up. You know more than you're willing to let on, and I don't like that. I will find out more. I'll be back for you. A buoy bobs in the water. The number on it says 11. I get some more XP, level up, put a point into composure, I'll be back. Wait, actually. Let's just check our clothes. Have we got any way of boosting our composure? It's +1 composure, -1 savoir faire. Those boots might be worthwhile for now. At least we probably can try again, right? That's all we can do. Do we have anything that minuses composure that we could take off? No. That gives us 1 more point in composure. Let's see if we can give it another go. You never know.
Always a pleasure to see an officer of the law.
No. We'll have to actually put a point in physically and then come back. That's cool. That's cool. At least we tried, right? I guess we'll head around to the church and check that out. He knows something, though. We're gonna get some shit out of him. Hopefully not literal shit, but, you know. We'll get something out of him. If we can figure a way to get our composure up some more. Here we go. Someone's left an unidentifiable article of clothing on this rail. It smells really bad. Touch it. The cloth, if you can still call it that, makes a soft crunching sound as you thrust your finger into it. Gross. Take a closer look. It's streaked with dry seagull shit and tangled with pieces of seaweed. A dangling arm suggests that there might be a jacket beneath the crust of filth. Seems likely that it was left on the surf until someone laid it out on the beach to dry out. Unfortunately, that just seems to have stiffened into a shapeless mass. What do we got here? Money. Postcard. We can sell that at the pawn shop later. A makeshift roof. Vagrants have tried to make the boardwalk habitable. Some money over there too. A coin-operated weighing machine. Hasn't been used for a decade. That tarp will keep out neither the rain, nor the snow, nor the wind. +2 encyclopedia, -1 perception. Okay. Vagrants have recently painted the tarp red. Water drips from it. There's a thing over here too. Oh, and there's money. We're gonna find that helmet eventually. Big wine canister. It's open and empty. Moonshine, probably. Smells like tasty fermentation. Oh, we got a person. Hang on. That smell. It's awful and familiar. What is it? Don't you recognize it? That hideous pungency? That faintly cloying sweetness? Only death smells like that. Something cold wakes in the pit of your stomach. Fear. It is death. It must be. It's a dead corpse, isn't it? Yes, a sense of dread washes over you as you look ahead. Is it this guy? He's not dead, is he? Careful there. These floorboards look rotten and weak. This coin-operated viewer has been out of order for years. Stop messing with the coin viewer and hold on to something. The wind is so strong. Working class corpse. He is dead. A man lies on the boardwalk, his limbs bent and neck turned at an unnatural angle. Right next to him is an empty bottle of spirits. In his cramped hand, a chewing gum wrapper. Half of his body is slipped between the cracked boardwalk, starting with the left leg. His fall has left him broken, contorted like a sad puppet. The smell is not as bad as the 2-week-old corpse, but it's definitely heading there. Calm now. Careful. Just another day. Just another dead body. Breathe. Study the man's clothes. He's wearing mud-caked boots, beige trousers, and an old brown leather jacket with bright blue lining. There are traces of kebab sauce on his chest. Search his pockets. You find some sunflower seeds and a rain-soaked library card, folded in two. His jacket feels sodden and heavy in your hand. Study the man. The man has fallen through a crack in the boardwalk and hit his head against the metal bench. Coagulated blood covers his black hair. One of his feet is still dangling through the hole. You have to be quite inebriated to fall that bad. 40 G of pure alcohol, 3 bottles of wine, or 1.5 of spirits. And maybe it's just the dark. Examine his face. His expression is dull, like the sea behind him. Drops of water shining on his moustache. His eyes, empty and wide, looked frightened in their frozen gaze. Height, 170 to 175 centimeters. Curly hair, stout build. Age approximately 50 to 60 years. Study the surroundings. There's some dried blood on the metal bench, right where the corpse's head rests. The floorboards are rotten and slippery, wet around the hole. An empty bottle lies nearby. A chewing gum wrapper is clenched in his fist. Examine the chewing gum wrapper. Rubowski, spearmint chewing gum. Green leaves on the cover. The man's mouth is half agape from the terror of the fall. Look in. The blackness of death, stench. You think you see the white chewing gum there too. Confirm, nearly the whole pack is there, solidified in his lower rear teeth. To hide the stench of alcohol, no doubt. Examine the bottle. A 0.75 litre Tolula vodka with its cap missing. There's hardly anything left inside. It's mid-market spirits with a slight touch of menthol. The man meant to enjoy himself. Have a good time. Step on the floorboards. The screech under your feet ominously. It's hard to say whether the dead man's weight was what caused the boardwalk to break. It definitely looks fragile. You see waves churning below. Something cracks beneath your feet. You could have easily disappeared into the sea through that hole, and you would never have found him. Examine his head. A dried chunk of blood covers the hair. At the back of the head, an open wound. It's sticky and cold to the touch. This is what killed him. What should I do with the body? First you need to talk with the lieutenant, and then report to the station. This is too complicated to handle on your own. I'll deal with that when the lieutenant's back. There's some tear, an empty cigarette packet, and a crumpled kebab wrapper in the trash bin. Examine the tear. 2 empty bottles of Tolula vodka and a can of black, potent porter is all you find. No, there's more in there. Livers, strawberry liqueur, plus some Pilsner bottles too. Better not pick them up, they seem unhygienic. Examine the cigarette packet. Whoever tossed it with here was a heavy smoker. The brand name reads Red Astra. Red Astra is the black market version of Astra cigarettes, known for their high tar content. Examine the kebab wrapper. You see traces of mayonnaise and ketchup on it, as well as a tomato wedge. The wrapper reads Shish Kebab Revachol. It's no older than a day or two, no mold yet. It's hard to concentrate on the smell. The sea air brings some relief. We'll talk to the lieutenant about that later. I think we have more to talk to him about too. Oh, our badge! We gotta tell him we found our badge. That's huge. I kinda don't want to interview that lady without him either. You know, could do with the help. Alright, let's hit up this church, I guess. Winter. Slowly let go of Revachol. Flex some more wet snow from above. Look around you. The snow falls lazily, making the beach sand paler still, mixing with the rust-coloured sewage runoff. And to think, it seemed as though it was already spring. How does it feel? The melting snow seeps through your thin clothes. Grandmothers don't let their grandchildren outdress so lightly in this weather. At least your hair is protected from getting wet and sticking together. You look around. What is below me? Layer upon layer of sand poisoned with industrial runoff, the storm drainage, hidden bunkers, rats scuttle. Tell me a secret of the sands, wind. Someone scuffed a big old polar anorak onto the concrete pipe under the boardwalk. It would keep you warm. You will probably never happen across it, but who knows? What's above? More coalition aerostatics. Occasionally light flashes as they maneuver through the falling snow. One large airship carries crates in its belly. What is to the south? The raised motorway, 881, separating Martinez from Jamrock. Vehicles whoosh past one another from day and night, while those who reside in the labyrinthine alleyways beneath the motorway attempt to carry on with their lives in the snow and the slush. And south of the 881 is the Pox. The Pox was once a park, a place for reflection and recuperation for the patients of the old military hospital. In the 20s it was used as a quarantine centre during a measles outbreak that killed many children. Most everyone has avoided the hospital and surrounding park ever since. The Pox is completely wild now. Evergreen thickets, covered in snow and industrial dust. Feral dogs and even wolves roam in packs. The police try to keep the deepest corners cordoned off. But still, heavy drug users do slip through and hole up in the old military hospital, hoping to find something to get high on among the hastily abandoned supplies, or just overdose in peace. Further south, a line of motor carriages with armoured carapaces hunched in the cold. A mechanic is hard at work, patching up bullet holes in the side of a Corpus 40. These are the garages of Precinct 41. Snow settles on the roof of the repurposed silk mill that serves as your station. Shivering RCM personnel hurry in and out of the main entrance. Around you, the snow continues to fall. To the west, the ocean swells. No, it was home, I want more. The stairs descend to central Jamrock. A man named Kuklov has a snow-covered stall there, in the market across the bridge. He sells kebabs infested with fly larvae to your colleagues who believe eating it will make them immune to food poisoning. Snow falls on the utility district, the library, the florist, the Samizerian restaurant that offers homemade wine, and also the brothels and the drug dens, and the chop shops of the Zemliaki. All of this built around a lake that formed in a meteorite strike. At the center of this lake, there is a little ship. There are lights at the bottom of its hull, and the lights are directed toward the sea floor, looking for something like whiskers. For what? A chill comes over you, crawling down your back. The sand under your feet is wet. Somewhere in the south. Tarpaulin flap in the winds. To the north, the abandoned church, one of two remaining stave churches which are collectively called Les Sept Sœurs. The other 6 sisters were destroyed during the revolution. And further north, a serpentine strip of land weaving its way into the Martinez Inlet. Unfortunates on the run from the law, from themselves, sometimes hide out on the nearby inlets. Little dots in the ocean that are occasionally submerged when the tide is high and the weather foul. And on the other side of the inlet, then there is ozone. But the snow falls too thick, you cannot see that far. Before the curtains are drawn, the Bay of Revachol, vastness, great depth, over 1,200 meters at its deepest. Water, air brinier than here. It is crisscrossed by huge cargo ships bearing company logos, Wild Pines, Zam, Morian. And at the farthest reaches of the Bay of Revachol, the shadow of Coalition warship Archer on the perpetual patrol duty, ready to unleash artillery fire if you were to rise up against the market. You shudder. What is in the west? More winding coastline lined with abandoned buildings, crumbling piers, salt water lapping at the dark piles, grey and red forgotten city blocks. What remains of the pre-revolutionary effort to gentrify the coast? And beyond that, the waters turn black, coal city in the shadow of the St. Martin, a boomtown. Back when coal extracted from countless shafts near the city was needed to power Revachol. No more. The coal was supplanted by petroleum from the ocean floor and hydropower from the Esperance. Everything crumbled. These days, only the weakest remain in Coal City. Their hopes of getting rich linger in the defunct shafts under their feet. What is there? Below the old mines. L'Auxerre, Municipal, Revachol's underground cemetery. Les Petites Rats brave the underground passageways, trying to get to Les Royaumes. Les Royaumes? Where the Philippian kings were interred, with their doctors and their admirals, mausoleums, burial chambers. Leaf gold still remains on the double door of the morning. Les Petites Rats? Children under 14, they go underground looking for artifacts to sell in foreign museums, and for fabled relics. Their parents let them. They go deeper. Wipe the snow from your shoulder. Few petite rats return from the shafts, and even fewer find what they were looking for. A small child steps out of a black tunnel with a silver trinket in their pockets. All around, white snow on the extinguished coke furnaces, and in the weather-worn shacks where fathers beat their sons after drinking. The snow melts on your fingers, turning to water. What is in the east? The canal you crossed to get here, and beyond it, Martinez proper, the district the police forgot to police. There is laughter, lights, attempts at entrepreneurial activity, cynicism. Someone is scraping snow off their windshield at the roundabout, in the midst of which a statue of Philippe III serves as a destination for grade school field trips, and a fine perch for winter birds. That's all. Like all monuments, it is also a warning. 6-story ruins on the south side of the roundabout cast long shadows over their profligate king, and further, a fenced-off yard. There is a truck belonging to a logistics company, parked next to the gate. Bright light from a building behind the fence reflects off its hood. Clean white light coming from the windows of a clean cube-shaped office building hidden amidst the ruins. A secret. Stomp your feet for warmth, brush off the snow. The spring thaw will come in earnest, just not yet. And with that, we are out of time for this episode. We are going to check out We're gonna check out this church as soon as we come back, and keep exploring the coast until we run out of coast to explore. We need to boost our... What do we need to boost? We need to boost our composure, which we can go up one more time. Hopefully we can get some information out of that man. We need to interview that lady. We need Kim back. We need to tell him about the dead guy. We need to tell him about the badge. Lots to do. Till then, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.